93.5. Brooke and Jubal's second date update.
The guy on the phone for a second date update today asked the girl that he wants to call out in one of the most creative ways I've ever heard of. And that's saying a lot because I've been pretty creative in my dating life.
Yeah, I bet.
I remember one time I asked this girl out. I walked up to her and I said, "Hey, would you like to go out sometime? I'll give you full tongue."
That's not creative.
And she said no, and we didn't go out. But after looking back at all my years of dating, that was the most creative thing I've ever done. And this guy outdid me by far, which is impressive. Congratulations, Lucas.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No problem. I read your email, and it was very creative how you asked this girl out. First of all, what's her name?
Gemma.
Gemma. All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about Gemma?
Well, she's really cute. We work together. We do a catering job, and, I always wanted to ask her out. It took me forever to actually, get the courage up to say anything to her.
How long had you been thinking about this?
Oh, man, it's been at least 8 months.
Oh, that's kind of cute. Wow. What'd you like so much about her?
She's one of those girls that's kind of, cute, but she doesn't know how cute she is, you know?
Okay.
So she's cute.
Very cute. Oh, my God, she's so cute.
Cutest.
Wow.
Okay, so
Got that part.
what finally made you go, I'm going to ask her out, if you've been thinking about it for 8 months?
It's been 8 months. I just basically looked myself in the mirror, and I was like, you know what? If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it.
Okay.
So
did you actually do something creative, or did you do something like Jubal described?
No, I think I did something pretty creative.
Okay.
So one night, we were working together on this job, and we had all the food set up, and it's right before the event starts. And I said to her, will you please look over there, because there's this one special order that I don't want to screw up, right? So she walks over there. My heart's thumping. She pulls up the lid of the dish, and underneath I had written, will you go out with me in spaghetti?
Oh, that's kind of
That's
cute.
creative. You asked a girl out in spaghetti. I've never heard of that before.
Right?
So cool.
What was her reaction?
Well, I didn't know because I went in the other room and I started working these tables and stuff, and I'm thinking about it the whole time. And she doesn't say anything until the end of the night. We're cleaning up after everybody, and she comes up to me and she's like, did you write, will you go out with me in spaghetti? And I was nervous because I thought that she didn't like it, but she says, did you really mean that? And I said, yeah. So then we made plans to go out.
Awesome. Okay, so it did work.
Yeah, the spaghetti ask out actually worked.
All right.
pretty
So there's a
cute.
lesson that a lot of dudes can learn out there. If you're having trouble
Yeah.
asking a girl out, use some spaghetti. The spaghetti ask out trick brought to us by Lucas. What'd you guys do on your date when you actually went out?
Well, the next night, we're catering a job, and she was actually talking to me a lot, getting a little bit flirty, giving me the eyes. You know how it is.
Okay, so she's excited, obviously, about this date.
Yeah, things were going great. And then after we're cleaning up, she said, do you want to do something? And I was like, of course.
You're like, yeah. Didn't you read my spaghetti letter, you idiot?
I'm telling you guys, people underrate the spaghetti.
Oh, I dig it, man.
So did you guys hang out that night?
Yeah. So we finished up the job. I take her out to my car. I was like, well, why don't you come back to my place? I'll make you some food. We'll have some wine, do that kind of thing. And she agreed. So we drive over to my place, and I actually made her, can you guess?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti, yeah.
All right, now it's getting a little old, Lucas. I'm not going to lie.
It's a little overkill now.
Yeah.
Like it.
Know when the joke should end.
She really liked it, though.
Okay.
Oh, good.
And it was good wine because it was from the catering company.
Oh.
They're not listening in.
So you mean you stole the wine? Is that what you're saying?
I borrowed, stole, who's keeping track?
Right. Okay, so you guys shared spaghetti and some stolen wine from your job.
Romantic.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
You know that she knows that you stole it from the catering company, right? I mean, she works for the same company. It's not a mystery where the nice bottle of wine came from.
Yeah, sure, she knew where it was from, but it's cool. We all do it. It's one of the perks of the job.
Yeah, right?
Was it also leftover spaghetti that you were serving her from the catering?
No, I made the spaghetti that night.
Okay, fresh spaghetti, old wine. Got it. So how did the date go, though, when you guys were actually having dinner and stuff?
We actually didn't even get to dinner because things started heating up. We started, making out a little bit.
Wow, right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
But then, a little bit into things, she started getting a little weird.
How so?
Well, she just kind of pulled back and then started being a little bit distant. And she said that she thought we were going too fast. And I was like, what?
Oh, maybe that's not weird. Maybe she just thought you were going too fast. I don't... I've never had a girl tell me to slow down before.
And then she just says to me, you know what? I don't know if it's best that I stay.
Whoa.
Wow, okay.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry, but, I was upset. I wanted to go over to the spaghetti and write, no, please.
I think that's the way you should have just communicated with her the whole time was via spaghetti noodle. So did she leave right after that then?
Yeah. We work at the same place. We do all these same jobs together, and it's been incredibly weird. There's this weird vibe going on, and I don't know what to do.
I actually feel bad for you. Like 8 months, you're building this night up in your head. It's finally going exactly how you imagined it to, and then everything is apparently fallen apart.
Thank you.
Have you tried to talk to her about this?
I've tried. I try and talk to her at the job. She just walks into the next room. I'm texting her. I'm calling her. And she never responds to anything.
And,
Okay.
and you were respectful when she said she wanted to slow down. You said, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. We can do that.
Yeah, and I was totally cool with that. I thought, maybe we are taking things too fast.
All right, well, we'll play a song, come back, call her, and get your second date update, okay?
All right, thanks a lot, you guys.
Yeah, man, hang on.
Moving 92.5. Brooke and Jubal in the mornings. Second date update.
If you're just joining us for today's second date update, Lucas is on the phone, and he wants to call a girl named Gemma today. They actually started making out 20 minutes in to their first date.
Yeah, get it.
But now she's not calling him back, and he doesn't know why. And he asked her out in one of the most creative ways I've ever heard. He asked her out with a plate of pasta.
Yes.
They both work at a catering company, and one night when they were working together, he spelled out, "Will you go out with me?" in spaghetti. And she eventually said yes. But now, like I said, she's not answering any of his phone calls, and she's kind of ignoring him at work. Lucas, what I think you need to do is go beyond words now at this point.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the pasta thing works so good for you, right? You got a date.
Yeah.
I think you should do it again. But this time, don't spell anything out. Just get a hot dog and a bun. And maybe a couple of meatballs and place them all appropriately on a plate and show that to her. And she might be down to go out with you again after that.
I should have called you before the first time.
Yeah,
See?
no kidding.
I got all the tricks, man. I got all the tricks.
Especially since she said that she thought that they were moving too fast. That's not too fast at all, Jubal.
We'll call her right now and see if we can figure out why she's not calling you back, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Hello,
May I speak to Gemma, please?
this is she.
Hey, Gemma, how are you? This is Jubal from Brooke and Jubal in the Morning.
Okay.
You work in catering, so I'm guessing you're not up early in the morning.
Well, how do you know that I work in catering?
I kind of know a lot more than you think I know about you, Gemma.
Why do you do it like that?
Okay, that's super creepy. And who are those people that are in the background?
That's Brooke.
Why is that weird guy laughing?
That's Jose, the
Yeah.
laughing guy. And then there's me. My name is Jubal, and this is Brooke and Jubal in the Morning. It's a radio show.
Why are you guys calling me?
She's like,
Well-
and that doesn't make it any better.
I'm calling you because you went out on a date with a guy who listens to our show, and he emailed us and asked if we could get you on the phone.
Wow. Okay.
The guy that wanted us to call you today, his name is Lucas.
Oh, God.
And I know you know who Lucas is because you guys work together.
Yes. I'm trying to change jobs.
What? You're trying to change jobs to avoid Lucas?
Yeah.
That is really intense.
Why?
Because it's just a little too awkward for me.
All right, well, what is so awkward? I mean, he told us a little bit about your date. He told us that you guys went out one night after work and went back to his place to eat, and you drank a little bit. He told us that you guys started making out at a certain point.
He's telling you that we made out? Why is he telling people about our date so explicitly?
He didn't.
Well, he didn't give us any like crazy details. He just said that you guys were making out. At a certain point, you stopped and said that you wanted to go, and then you left and haven't talked to him since.
I will say he was completely respectful of you, and he was so excited. I mean, it sounds like he's had a crush on you for months and months and was so looking forward to this night.
Well, it's like so uncomfortable. I don't know. Yes, he was obviously very excited. and very inexperienced.
Excited and
Inexperienced?
inexperienced.
Wait a minute.
Wait, that's
You mean
a
like,
different word.
was he a bad kisser, or I'm kind of scared to ask you what you mean by he was so excited.
It's actually just everything. Everything possible just seemed like he's never been with a woman before ever in his life.
Whoa.
The date started with me going at his door, and he shook my hand when he saw me. I've known this guy for 8 months, and he shook my hand.
Oh, come
And I was like, okay, maybe he's being a little bit charming. Maybe he's trying to be sweet.
Yeah.
I'll let it fly. And then we walked in, and he had like already opened wine that he was totally open about it. He was like, yeah, I got it from the catering gig. I mean, so he essentially stole wine, but it was already open from being poured at the catering event that we were just at.
Okay. So he's cutting corners on your date.
Yeah, I mean, this was a first date, and he wanted to impress me, and he impressed me by opened, aired out, used wine.
But you still made out with him.
Well, because I thought, okay, well, maybe he's being really sweet and charming. Maybe he's really nervous. But then he started to ask me permission to do everything. And when I say everything, I mean he was like, is it okay if I sit next to you? Yes. Is it okay if I touch your hand like this? Can I just put my hand on your hand?
Weird.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, everything. So imagine, like, can I kiss you right now? Can I kiss you with tongue right now? Is that okay?
That's so awkward.
And I was
All right,
like, no. So awkward.
I've heard people do the "can I kiss you" thing, and I know some girls have a split reaction to that. Some girls are like, just go for it. Some girls are like, I like it when they ask. Did he really ask you, can I kiss you with tongue?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Can I use my tongue?
Did you just...
Can I use my tongue?
Was that the final question that made you stop saying yes?
The final question, which was the total, I mean, it should have been, can I kiss you with tongue? But it was, can I grab your boobs?
Nuh-uh.
Okay.
Like, quote unquote, grab your boobs.
Can I grab your boobs? Not like, ooh, let me see them, boob, nothing like cool, dirty. It was like, can I grab your boobs? Grab your boobs.
Wait a minute.
And then I just had to dip out. I mean, it was so terrible.
I can understand how that would be awkward to ask everything.
The most.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Okay, I just need your permission. Is it okay if I let you know that
Don't
he's
even.
Is it okay if I let you know that he's on the other line listening right now and wants to talk to you?
Are you me right now?
No, I'm not. Lucas?
Gemma,
Oh my God.
I didn't ask you permission to do every single little thing. I mean, you're going a little overboard here.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, you don't
Lucas,
just want to
it was
dive in.
everything.
You know, I want to make sure that you're okay with things.
No, Lucas. If you were to ask me one time, can I kiss you right now? That can be still sexy, but it's not sexy when you ask about everything. I mean, you were asking about sitting next to me, holding my hand, topics of conversation.
I was trying to take it slow. I didn't want to like put you off or make you feel
Slow?
uncomfortable
No.
or anything.
Look, if there's anything that we get from this really inappropriate and awkward phone call right now on a radio show, it's that you should never ever do that again.
Well, how do I know if it's okay to touch your boob if I don't ask you?
Oh, sweet.
I can't even believe you're asking me that question. No man has to ask that question.
Guys, stop dogging on Lucas so much. He's trying to be respectful of you, Gemma. You
Well,
know?
he should
Thank you,
stop
Brooke.
trying. I get that he's trying to be respectful, but at a certain point, he needs to pick up on the cue that it's just not working.
Yeah.
Hey, if I remember correctly from that night, you were saying yes to a lot of things.
Uh-oh.
Good point.
I only said yes because I had already consumed nearly that entire bottle of the open aired out wine that you stole from the catering company, and I was too lit.
Oh, and that's a responsible way to behave on a first date?
I'm not saying that I was trying to be responsible. That's not my problem. I'm not the one calling into a radio show.
Gemma, he
You
liked
could have at least returned my calls.
No, it would have been too awkward. I wasn't prepared to talk to you.
Oh,
Gemma,
no.
he liked you for 8 months. You're telling me that entire time that you guys worked together, you didn't have any feelings towards him.
Thank
And
you.
you have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
personality. You're sweet, but as soon as you were alone with me, it was like the worst date I've ever been.
Oh, man.
no.
That is harsh. harsh, man. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just awkward, for God's sake.
She's honest.
But imagine, like a woman's spark is lit by somebody being manly. At least that's how mine is. And as soon as somebody starts acting like a 12-year-old, I can't do it.
Can I do
Well, you
this?
know what you
Can I
like,
do
I
that?
guess.
Wow. I wish I'd never grabbed your boob on that date.
I wish you had just asked it. I wish you had just grabbed it.
Yeah, well, I think we have a little different memory of that night because you were pretty turned on when I was doing it.
Oh, maybe the wine kicked in.
I think we definitely have a different memory of that night.
Well, Gemma, I would like to ask you a question.
Oh, God.
Gemma, is it okay if I ask you if you go out on a second date with Lucas because we will pay for it?
You know what? No, I got to say no. I'm so sorry. You know, Lucas, I wish you all of the best. I really, really do. I think you're very sweet. My recommendation for you is that you never, just do not ask questions like that again. Just go ahead and go for it. Find that self-confidence within yourself and move forward.
Oh my God, it's like
You sound like a motivational speaker. It's awesome.
Listen, there are plenty of girls that want me, all right? I don't need you. I don't need anything like that. So,
Yep.
I hope, have a great one.
You're right, Lucas. There are plenty of girls out there who want you. Just ask them. I'm sure they're out there.
Brooke and Jubal in the morning.
Would you mind if I kiss you with tongue this time? It's Brooke and Jubal in the morning talking about today's second date update. Lucas wanted to call Gemma, and we got her on the phone and found out why she wasn't calling him back. It's because he asked permission for everything and even uttered those words, "Can I kiss you with tongue?" She was not into that.
Oh, I think his intentions were good. You know, the way he did it, not so smooth.
Yeah, I think it's
but-
okay to get consent and make sure things are cool, but there's a point when you just kind of have to know that things
Yeah.
are okay.
Yeah, when they're kissing you back.
Yeah, when they're kissing you back, like at that point, you can kind of test the limit and they're like, hey, don't put your hand there. You take your hand away.
Yes.
But you don't want to ask for everything. And he did that, and they decided not to go out again.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
how bad that'd be? It would ruin the mood every time.
Every single time, yeah.
Like, can I take off your top?
Yeah.
Can I take off your pants?
I don't know. It's kind of like a game of Simon Says at some point, right?
Remember, if you want to do a second date update, all you have to do is email the show, and we will call the person who didn't call you back. Just 5 minutes away from your shot at the phrase that pays.
Moving 92.